Hey, what is going on, guys? This is SMEB Reviews. Today we are reviewing the debut album from Bleachers, Strange Desires. Let's get to it. With the upcoming release of Gone Now, Bleacher's second album, I wanted to dive into their first album and see what was good about it, what was bad about it, just talk about this album. It's an album I really enjoy. I really like this album. I think it's a very interesting album. It's not something that you typically hear on the radio or typically expect to hear. It's very indie, and I really like this album. Strange Desire was released July 11th, 2014, and was produced by the lead singer of this band, Jack Antonoff, as well as John Hill, who's produced some major artists such as Rihanna, Jay-Z, Shakira, as well as a couple other indie artists, obviously Bleachers, Portugal the Man, others like that. Phantogram is another big one. You may recognize Jack Antonoff's name because he is the guitarist from Fun, who had 3 hit singles, Some Nights, Carry On, and We Are Young. He, since then, has made this side project, Bleachers. There are 2 major words I could use to describe Strange Desires: grandiose and catchy. Every single song in here is beyond catchy. It really gets stuck in your head, and I can sing all of these songs from heart. I know them, I love them, but also grandiose. Every song, minus a couple in the album, are very big. They always come in huge at the chorus or in the verses or something. They're always very big, though. Usually there's a big drum build-up that comes into the chorus. It's kind of a simple style to do that, building up and hitting the chorus really big with a drum lead in, but it works with every song that he writes. They all have very catchy choruses, and I think that it really works for him. All of his instrumentation is very different. He uses very different instruments, not just playing guitar or piano and drums and a bass. There's a lot of different things sprinkled in there that just make this album stand out. It makes it stick in your brain. And that's just one reason why this album's a very good album. This song has emotional highs in Rollercoaster where all you want to do is just sing and roll down your windows and jam out to this song. And then really low, sad, emotional songs like a River Runs or Wake Me. It's a very personal project for Jack. He really puts his heart and soul into this songwriting and really tells a story with this album. A lot of people think that his writing's all over the place, and some of his lyrics are very strange, either grammatically or just weird lyrics, such as in Rollercoaster, he says, "What a killer queen you are." Who really knows what he's talking about? I mean, you get the point, but it's just strange wording. But despite that, he's still a very emotional songwriter. Like a River Runs, I listened to a 12-minute interview about what this song means to him, and it's really about just his sister. I mean, there are other influences, and you can listen to this song and just assume it's about another girl, and that's okay. I mean, it definitely could sound like that. But he lost his sister at a very young age, and having that knowledge when listening to this song, it's a very emotional song, and it doesn't sound like it. It sounds happy, but you can tell the heartbreak, especially in the first couple lines. I woke up thinking you were still here, my hands shaking with regret, and you can just tell he misses her and just wishes she was back. It's something that took such a toll on him, and he's writing about it years later. This was years ago that he lost his sister, and he writes about it, and he's continuing to write about it in his upcoming album, Gone Now. This album has been a very critically confused album. There is one side of the spectrum that loves this album, thinks it's a very catchy, very good, well-written album, and then there's one that thinks that it's all over the place, and it's just a bunch of random songs about random events. And I really don't agree with this side. I really think that it's an album. An album is supposed to have a well-consolidated, concise thought, an overarching theme. And this album really does. It doesn't necessarily stand out, but it really has a theme to this album. You can tell that this album's about a girl. Whether you want to assume it's his sister, whether you want to assume it's an ex-girlfriend, whatever you want to think it is, you can tell that he's talking about a girl. And while there are a couple moments that stray from this, it is focused around this girl with the wild heart, and you can just tell that even though this person really took a toll on him, and he's still hurting from it, whether it be relationship-wise or just losing his sister, you can tell he took a toll from that. To further emphasize what I mean, throughout the album he has this sample of him saying, "I want to be grateful for all the experiences I've had." This, at first listen, I thought that he was talking about, fame. I thought he was talking about being grateful for the experience of getting to be a musician, getting to make money because of what he loves. But really listening to it, I think he's talking about the experience he had with this girl, the experiences that he gets to cherish for his whole life. Even though he's really messed up now, he's really thankful that he got to spend even one day, 1 hour, anything with her. And that's different. I mean, it's not something I'm used to hearing in music. A lot of music is either I'm glad you're gone or please come back to me. And while yes, you can tell he misses this person, he's grateful for it. I mean, he's grateful for the experiences he had and is just he wants to get better, as one of the songs say. I mean, I Want to Get Better, the lead single from this track, amazing song. But you can tell he's just happy that he got to at least spend time with her. And that just shows that this album is not multiple different songs just slammed together. I don't think that someone looking at this album with no past experience or knowledge of him might know that this story exists, of him losing his sister, or just really diving into these lyrics and noticing that it could just be about a girl. But when you look at it, it really is one big, long story. And I think that that's what a lot of people are missing about it. It's a very good album, and I don't know how anyone could have docked it quite as much as they did. Maybe it's not your favorite album, maybe his lyrics are a little off, maybe the production is a little weird, which it is. The production is not the best. But it's still a very concise album, which is what he got hit so hard for, and I love this. I mean, I think it's a very emotional, well thought out album, and I don't know why he's got so much crap for it. Now let's talk about the sound of this album. Like I previously mentioned, it's not the best produced album I've ever heard. It's kind of all over the place with the production, but that's because he was writing this in the process of working on Some Nights and the tour with Fun, and it was kind of just a diary of things that happened. It wasn't ever sit down in the studio and record this. He would do one song here and there, and that's why the production's kind of off. Now, a lot of people probably wonder whether this sounds anything like Fun. No. Besides possibly the last track, Who I Wanna Love, there is no songs that really remind me of anything Fun did. I think he really wanted to step away from that style, and I think that that was for the better. I like Fun. I think that they're a pretty interesting band, but I think that for him to distinguish himself, he needed to step away. Personally, I don't think his vocals are quite as good as Nate Rue's from Fun, so I think stepping away from any style that Fun had lets him be his own artist, lets Bleachers be its own project, and not just a Fun side project. And I think that it really works. I think that his vocal style with these songs work really well. Now, yes, sometimes his voice is a little manipulated, and that's because he's obviously not a lyricist or vocalist first, but I still think that he is a very good singer. He has a very good range. He really knows what he's doing, and it seems like he can really control his voice. There are a couple things where it doesn't quite work out, but I think he's a very talented singer. Besides the strange production, as well as a little weird vocals, the only other real problem I have with this album is whenever he features an artist, which he does twice, it doesn't really sound like he's writing for himself. It sounds like he's writing for them, which makes sense. He is a songwriter. He's wrote a lot of pop songs for other people, a lot of other indie songs, so it makes sense that it would sound a little bit like that. But I personally think once you're an artist yourself, you need to stick to your style. There's nothing wrong with altering it a little bit to fit in the artist, but I don't personally think that it works whenever you completely change your song for the artist you're featuring. And that's my only real problem whenever he features an artist. He seems to have also been doing that in the new album, and I understand why, but I just personally think that you need to stick with your style and make them mesh with yours because it's your song. Let's talk about my least favorite tracks. Honestly, it's just the two songs that there's a featured artist. Take Me Away with Grimes, and I'm Ready to Move On / Wild Heart Reprise with Yoko Ono. Both songs, like I said, sound very much like it's written for that person. Yoko Ono makes the song very strange, and I actually kind of like her part because, to me at least, and I'm sure, I don't know whether this was written on purpose or I'm just making this up, but she sings I'm Ready to Move On, and that just makes me think of John Lennon's death. Maybe it's about that. Maybe it was just written for this album and totally separate. And I think if this was her song, I'd be okay with it. But it's because he is in there, it's his song, and it doesn't sound like him. Also, on the reprise part, it just has this weird filter, makes him sound very robotic, and I don't like it at all. That is my least favorite track. Take Me Away is okay, but it just, I can't get into it. Again, it doesn't sound like his style. It's okay, but not much happens in the song. It's just one of the most boring songs on the album. Now let's stop talking about negative, because this album is so good. I love so much about it. There are a couple negatives, but there's so much good about this album. Let's talk about some of my favorite tracks first. Wake Me. This song is very flat, but then whenever it hits the chorus, which a lot of these songs do, it shoots up so much. But that's not just my favorite part. It just comes straight back down, and that's something that a lot of people wouldn't like, but I think it's so different. It's not an organization style that we see that often. It's a song where he is screaming at the top of my lungs, "Wake Me," and then it just flattens out back to the normal chorus of him just plucking a guitar. And that's so different to me, and it's jarring, but I love it so much. Along with other favorites are I Want to Get Better, which I've previously talked about him just saying, I want to get better. I don't want to be sad. I don't want to be unhappy anymore. I want to be better. And that's something we can all relate to, whether it's addiction, depression, anxiety, anything. We want to get better. And sometimes it's out of our control, but he really is just saying, I want to be better. I want to get better. I want to move past this. And like I said, if we're thinking about the death of his sister, that's just crazy. It's such a good thing to think about. And like I said, just thinking about his sister in any of these songs just adds so much depth to them. And then rounding out the end of this, Like a River Runs, like I already quoted from it, it's a song that he said is about his sister and just dreaming about his sister and then waking up and just seeing she's not there anymore. And it's heartbreaking. Again, but it does it in such a way that you don't even think about it unless you really listen to the lyrics. And I think that that's one way that you can really make a good song, is by making a fun, entertaining song for the average listener to listen to. But whenever someone who's heard this song 10 times decides, hey, I want to dive into these lyrics, they can listen to it and just find a whole new world of depth. A sad song, you already know it's sad. If it's slow, you know it's going to be a sad song. But this song is a happy song, so you're thinking that he's singing about happy stuff, but when you listen to it, it's not. He's sad, and that's just something that you don't hear very often, and when you do, that just makes a song even better. I really think that that's a song that's really grown on me over time, and that's one of the best songs on the album. Real quick, I want to mention Rollercoaster. It's a really fun song. It's not lyrically anything deep, but it's a really fun song, really enjoyable song, and what got me into them in the first place. So if you're looking for one of these songs to pull out and just see if you'd be interested, maybe Rollercoaster, I Want to Get Better. Both of those songs are really good jumping points, and I really recommend them. Overall, this is one of my favorite albums of all time, and I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. I just want to thank you guys for watching so much. It really means a lot. Just seeing getting 10 views really means a lot to me. But some of these videos have gotten up to 50, and it means so much. And thank you guys for watching so much. Please continue to leave comments of suggestions or any criticisms that you have. I take those to heart, and I really enjoy seeing them. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys later.